Good morning, it's Leanne Peters here. I'm from templeofbalance.com.au, Temple of Balance on Facebook, and Temple of Balance on YouTube. And I'm here to create this healing event. I call it a personal healing event for some of my Temple of Balance patrons for June 2023. So thank you so much to my patrons for your support for this month of June. The new month clicks over on the 1st of July, and hopefully I might reconnect with you again then. And we also always welcome new patrons if you would like to support my work in that way. So what it is, I guess it's like a membership subscription sort of thing that you sign up for the month, and it's month by month. You can cancel any time, you can join any time. Some people have stayed a few years. Some people come in every month or two. Some people stay for a few months and then leave. So it sort of depends on what works for you and what resonates. And there are different levels of sort of subscription. So you pledge the level or the amount that that you resonate with or are willing to pledge, and at that level you can access certain resources. So at one of the levels, which is a $50 US level, you can access this personal healing event, plus all the other things that sit below that, like you become a Pillar of Light member, you receive an art print each month. Hi, Jane. And can also tap into other healing events that I have and different things. So if you're interested or you'd like to take your connection with my work deeper, then please have a look at Patreon. The link is in the video description. So today I have 5 people on my healing list, and I've got your names in my little pot here. So I'll be pulling your names out in a moment. Before I start, I recommend that if you're waiting for your name to be pulled, or if you're not on the list today, or what I would be doing is I'd be taking some big deep breaths and be open to receiving what I need from this connection today. I get emails all the time from people that tell me about connections that I've made for another person that actually really resonates and seems like I'm speaking directly to them as well. So it seems to happen that way, which is interesting. It's the way this sort of energy works. So I trust you've been led here for a reason, and I trust that something shared supports you. As I connect with you specifically as well, if you're on the list today, then also take a nice big breath and, excuse me, be open to receiving what you need. Let's just fix this cord up so I don't have a bouncing. I've got a new a new light here, and it sort of has my phone suspended. It just means it gets a bit bouncy if I'm doing things on my table here. So the way I'll be connecting is each person, as I pull your name out of the pot, I'm going to pull a healing energy card to start the connection, and then I'll tune in and see what's loudest in your energy, and I'll spend about 10 minutes connecting with you. We'll be moving energy and doing whatever needs to be done. I don't know what we're going to be doing yet because I let it unfold in the moment. This works for me, so I have no preconceived expectations or thoughts about what we're going to do. I just really want to tune in the moment and trust in that flow and that unfolding. And it seems to work pretty well for me, so I'm going to stay with that system. And then I'll pull a card to go. So enjoy. Thank you so much for joining me today, and let's get started. We need a person first. So we'll start with who? This person. And it is Jane Corlett. Jane, welcome to our Patreon here. And let's see what you need for today. So nice big breath, or what you need for now. So the best card to start this connection is this. And it's from the Healing Energy Cards deck too. Card 71, Release Expectations. It says, don't worry about the future. Release. Don't make assumptions. Trust in the flowing moment. You are safe and protected. And surrender any feelings of disappointment. There's a sense here of flow and movement, but it's free, let's say, of expectations and assumptions of how things should be or how we think things should be. There's a grounding element to this card too, even though it feels very flighty and flowy, like a feather blowing through the sky, or blowing through the air. There is a grounded feeling, even though it's quite airy. So, Jane, please take a nice big breath and let's see what's loudest in your energy today. So I'm opening up my sensitivity to the energy that I'm sensing that is not how I usually feel in the configuration of my being and my body. So I can feel an energy pulling through here on the right side. It's a little bit like a breeze, so I'm going to call it a breeze for now, but I've got this feeling that that's probably not quite exactly right. But it feels like a movement of energy that's coming in on the right side. Excuse me, I'm at the tail end of the flu. So, yeah, this energy's pulling in on the right side, and it's pulling in and then stopping in here at your body. And as it stops in here at your body, so it sort of moves in and seems to stop, but as I look at a more micro level, it moves in and it breaks apart. So it's like, I guess, you might say it looks like an arm that's moving in and then breaks up into fingers. It breaks up into particles or micro versions of itself as it breaks down into the body. So if I could draw a picture, I'd be drawing this as a picture. I'd be drawing like a breeze or a movement of energy here that's quite large, coming in on the right side, and then as it hits the body, it breaks up into fragments of itself. So like all these fingers, but they're like swirls and like broken down fragments of wind or energy, and it's moving through here almost in slow motion as it moves through all across your body. So all down your right side, completely down from the bottom of your foot all the way to the top of your head. This energy moves in, and it moves in, and it wants to, the words I'm feeling here, it wants to take over, and what it wants to do is actually push out old energy that's been hovering inside you. And I can feel as it breaks down and into smaller finger like versions of itself, it pushes out stagnant energy that you've probably been stuck in, that's been hovering. It pushes this out the other side. And what I'm seeing with this heavier energy, it looks a bit browny, grey, a bit like a thick smoke, I guess, but maybe even a little denser than that. It doesn't quite feel like something I can touch, and it's not quite like ash. I guess it's a bit smoky, so it's kind of denser than this other energy, but not as dense as something solid that we could touch. And it starts being pushed out. Your body starts being taken over in a positive way by this energy that's coming in and moving energy out through your left side. Now the energy that's moving out feels a little stuck and stationary and fixed in some ways. So this energy that's broken down, that's coming in from the right, needs to sort of pry it free and pry it away from where it's been settled and where it's calcified in some ways, or where it's become heavy and stuck, and it needs to pry it so that it can shift and break it away. And I see these various sizes of particles. They're like bits of flaky energy that are now starting to break out through this left side and being pushed away. There's a lot of it in the front area of in the torso energy area of your body, especially around your heart. But I feel it throughout, but it seems densest around the heart and around your torso itself, but especially weighing on that left side. So pushing out as that other energy pushes in, and it allows this other, what feels a bit smoky, but now it feels like it's a bit more flaky, like flaked bits of mud, but it doesn't feel real thick and cakey like mud. It's more like flaky, like paint, like old paint that we might be scraping off, and it sort of flakes in big and small little flaky bits. That's how it feels like. That's what it feels like. So just allowing that to move out the left side, and then it drops down to the earth once it's out of your body, because it has a weight to it, like it has a gravitas, and it just falls down to the ground. So there's this pile of what looks like flaky brown paint, browny grey paint, now in the pile here. It's probably almost a foot high and about a foot wide, but it's in like a mountain sort of shape at this pile. And it all flakes down there, and the last of it releases through your left hand, smaller flakes coming through and out down on that side. It all banks up down there on the ground. And now that we've finished that energy and pushing it out, the pile of flakiness now just soaks down into the earth, where it returns back to love. So it sort of breaks itself down and returns back to the energy that it is. And with that, there's a release feeling. And with this release feeling comes relief. Hey, it comes relief as you let go of the stuff that's been chipping away at you, the stuff that's been building up in you, the stuff that you're ready to release and let go. It feels to be a lot of relief here. This other energy that came in before has now just really gently taken you over. And it doesn't feel like a bad thing. It feels like a good thing. It feels like peace and love and contentment and stability that's coming in. And it's coming in gently. So even though it sort of pushed its neighbour out, it pushed that had been residing here first, or prior to it coming, even though it pushed it out, it's now just slowly settling into your body. It feels colourless. So that's what another reason why it reminds me a bit of wind or air, because it feels translucent and feels non-invasive, even though it's taking over. I feel like it's becoming perhaps more at the forefront of your energy, let's say, or more of a priority perhaps that's creeping over, but it's coming in very much on the horizontal. So this is also aligning, oh yeah, that's right, thanks Nikki. It's also aligning you with your life's path, because it is coming in on the horizontal. And this is Jane that I'm connecting with now. Because it is coming in on the horizontal, it's also showing that what's moved out and what's moving in, that this is connected with your life's path somehow, and where you're going in life, where you're moving to, what you're bringing forth in your life's path and your life experience, what you're manifesting and wanting to create and wanting to build for yourself moving forward. So that's the energy that's taken over, and it feels priority now rather than the insecurities or the expectations or the flakiness or the stagnation that this other energy had perhaps taken over or become prominent in your energy field. So I trust this resonates, Jane. Let's grab a card here to add and see what this wants to add as we finish up. So lots of release. What I'd be doing as well to support yourself for the next day or so is also working with your breath and your methods of release. So release brings relief, and there is this shift that wants to take place to help bring clarity as you prepare to move forward. So clarity and confidence, because they go together. So Jane, your card to finish this up is here. There we go. Radiance. Hello there. Radiance card 85. This is shining and glowing from within. So there's similar feelings to this. So we've moved this heavier energy out, the heavier energy that's been weighing you down. And this radiant energy, this is coming from inside. So this is like glowing from within. Shine your light. Be at peace with others and be at peace with yourself. This is not unlike the energy that's moved through, except it felt more like it a wave of energy that came in from the side rather than something that's radiating out. But this is probably something that you're moving into as that energy settles into place. There might be more of a radiance that comes out as well. But this is showing that your light, there's no need for doubt, basically. There's no need for doubt because it doesn't need to exist in the place that you're moving to, in the place that you're in. So there is this sense, if you can release that, then that will align you up further with the power of your path and the power of where you're going and the power of the decisions that you're making in your life, rather than having a doubt or a hesitancy or an uncertainty to those things that you're wanting to do. So no doubt, embrace your personal power and see where this path takes you. Thanks, Jane. I trust this supports you, and thanks for your support. Namaste. Okie dokie. Welcome, everybody. So I've got 5 people on my healing list today with 4 left, and you're very welcome to stay if you're not on the list, and if you are on the list, then I'll connect with you soon. Next on my list that I'll be connecting with is Carol White. So Carol, please take a nice big breath, and let's see what's loudest in your vibration today. So the best card to start this is here. Another healing energy card, number 2. We have card 84, large and looming. There's a feeling with this card that something might feel large and looming and bigger and grander and scarier than it really is. So an intensity, an overwhelming feeling probably, but also a stepping out of your comfort zone. It says here, practice, get the task complete, conquer this. So the challenge, hard work and commitment. So there's something big that's brewing and big that's coming in. And as I connect with your energy, I can feel this swollenness. It's like from your neck down to your pelvis, all that area in between there is swelling and expanding and pulling out in all directions. But yet it still feels contained. It's like blowing up a big round balloon and the air's contained within the rubber or the makeup of the balloon itself, the shell of the balloon. It contains the energy or holds it, but we can still, until that breaks, we can still blow up that balloon, and that's what it feels like something's growing, something's expanding, and it feels very rounded like a balloon. And it feels like it's coming from the throat, so it's things that you're saying, things that you're expressing or communicating, things that you're doing through your voice and through your words is blowing more air into this balloon and helping expand things. This feels like a good thing because it feels like it's an expansion of your being, but it's taking yourself out into the world in a different way. And I can feel as this air, as everything that you're communicating and saying, and all the experience that you're muttering and assisting with and leading with as well, because I see you leading, I see you writing and instructing people before you. The more and more you do that, the more you're building in the more you're expanding yourself out into the world. And this feels to be extremely important. And in fact, a really interesting scenario and energy to see. So as you believe in yourself, as you practice what you're practicing and speak and say and do and express in the way that you need to express at this time, this is expanding and growing your confidence in yourself. It's also expanding we could say your brand, we could say expanding yourself out into the market, out into potential business or work for the future as well. And I'm just saying this while I'm still feeling this expand, basically, just to help feed it a little bit more. The balloon or this energy that's expanding feels very red. So it shows a very physical connection here with your physical life. and the things that you're doing very physically. Could be to do with your body too, and your body might need to be backing up your words and your actions, your words and your expressions that you're speaking. So it's not like, you're sort of sitting back and muttering this. It's like your body needs to be into it as well. So I see you standing up, I see you presenting things, and that's the physical, your physicality, your physical body that's coming in and backing up your words. So it's not just the words, it's your body language and your physical body that's also bringing the power to the words and the energy that you're sharing is the feeling here. So, and also being read, this is talking about your physical life and the things that you're wanting to bring into your physical experience, especially on a security or survival level. So we're looking at finances, health, your physical body, also keeping the roof over your head and all that stuff that we require to physically exist, basically. So this energy is very present here as well. And it doesn't feel like it wants to pop at all. Like it doesn't feel like a balloon that's stretched thin and it's about to burst and explode. It doesn't feel like that. It feels like there's a lot of give, and there's more space for expansion and more space for movement and pushing out, but it's all around you. It's up, and it's all around. This whole thing is expanding all across the board, multiple dimensions and directions, and it's growing you. So with this and with its growth, it feels now I just want to bring some energy down into your legs so you can hold this energy nice and strong, because I feel like your legs, so from your hips down, feels like the plinth or the stand, the plinth that is holding this in place. And if your legs are too weak, if you're not strong enough within yourself, as far as physically or in the direction that you're willing to go, I feel like your legs could become like tiny little sticks trying to hold this big balloon up, a balloon of energy. So it's a bit like, say, a tree, and the tree's branches grew out like this, but then the tree trunk was just this tiny little stem. Well, it's going to end up coming out of balance. So I just want to bring some energy down into your legs. And actually, I'm going to bring it up into your legs from the earth, because I'm feeling the ground sort of open up underneath you. It doesn't open up and you drop in or anything. It just feels like it softens somehow. Like it feels like it's less hard ground and it softens. And there's a sense of you just slightly sinking into the ground because it softens and opens. And then coming up from the earth is this browny red earth energy that fills up or is pulled up or vacuumed up into the soles of your feet, both of them at the same time in equal proportion. And it comes up, it sucks up like a vacuum up into your body. And it comes and it settles here at your hips, and then builds up the energy. It builds up itself as it layers up or packs up into your legs. If your legs were empty, it's like packing something so that it's full, but it feels like we're going against gravity in some ways, but that's okay. But it feels like we're just packing this energy up, like really tucking it up into your hips and into your legs, and really building strength to your legs, your physicality, so that you can actually keep going and keep moving and keep walking and carry this load in some ways that you're carrying, this responsibility, this power that you're carrying, so that you can hold that up as best as possible. So now all the way down to your feet, your ankles are being packed up with this kind of thick earthly energy, and down to the soles of your feet. And your legs are now feeling strong. So your legs energetically are about direction and movement forward in your life, as well as your hips. They're about action. So that also feels like it's probably been reinvigorated as well within you, if that even waned, which I'm not sure that it did. So that's what I'm feeling here, Carol. Let's grab another card to see what this wants to add. And so, Carol, the best card to finish up and tie up this connection is... I'm just going to go... Oh, okay, well, cards are falling out here everywhere. I'm going with this card. It's this. The Lion here, card 14, male support. And it says you're supported and protected, and your inner father protects your inner child. And in some ways that means that's you protecting yourself and you protecting your vulnerable childlike side. Family healing, family connections, strength, look ahead, and the true masculine. So there is a strength that's coming in with this card, especially around male energy, or we could say authority figures. And I feel in some ways you're an authority figure here. So it does, male support doesn't necessarily mean a physical male, like a man, or a physical male. It can also represent someone who's strong, someone who's independent perhaps, or someone that shows or demonstrates or is in a position of some sort of authority. And I feel this is you. I feel like this is you in a position of authority or a position of leadership, and that others are looking up to you, perhaps even males that are looking up to you as this leader, as this authority, and feeling that and helping as much as you can from your experience feels to be very valuable. So not only do you have that masculine support or strength around you, but you are that strength for others. So that feels quite inspiring, actually. Thanks, Carol. I trust this supports you. Thanks so much for your support. Namaste. Okay, let's see who's next. Next on my list is this person, and it is KantiDevi Wedad. Take a nice big breath, please. I'll just pop these other cards back. And let's see what we have for you. So there's a shift in energy here, I feel. The other two connections between Jane and Carol there were actually fairly similar, quite strong energies coming through or building up. Whereas Kanti, there's a softer energy that wants to come in here. And it does feel more softer and more feminine in some ways. Let's grab your card and then I'll look further into the energy. So we have this card here. Here we go. Soothing. Card 52. And this has that feminine quality. In fact, this is not dissimilar to the energy that I was just feeling or have been feeling here. Emotional soothing, exploration and stabilizing. Welcome contentment into your heart and life. Heart healing and opening, and gently. So there is this gentle energy that's coming in. And I feel like it's countering a serious focus, perhaps more masculine energy that has been within you or you have had to be for some time. So it's like the counter or the balance to that, the antidote. Not that we need an antidote, but it's just the balance that's coming in after a period of what feels to be quite serious dedication and focus. So this softer energy is coming in and it's moving into you from the front, and it feels like just a really gentle wave of water. And the gentle wave is picking up and curling over and into your heart and down into your body as you let yourself receive this gentle energy that wants to come in and calm you down and just bring this gentleness, this softness into your body and especially into your heart. I can feel it also extending upward and flowing over the front of your shoulders. And now there's this sense that the burden is over, the responsibility has passed. The pressure that you've been under is moving now. This water energy feels cool as well as gentle and soft. So it feels like it cools down the things that were hot for you, the things that were hectic for you. So the burdens are releasing too over the front of your shoulders, which is interesting because usually burdens we carry on our shoulders and down the back of the body. But here I'm feeling the burden or the shift in heaviness may not even be exactly described as burden, but that heaviness over your shoulders and just the front part here of your shoulders is softening and moving away. So this wave of energy is moving energy in and out, and allowing that to sort of freshen up your space, soften things up for you. Now, the energy at your hips feels like it's slightly toing and froing. So it feels like, should I do this? Should I do that? There's this to and fro feeling. And I can feel like energetically your hips are just sort of moving forward a bit. But I feel like a shift in body weight where you're going from, say, your left leg, left foot to your right foot. And this sort of shifting of body weight and this toing and froing. And it's very much hips and legs as you're toing and froing between what to do next, perhaps, or how you're going to proceed, or what's the clarity or the bigger picture on this thing that you're contemplating, that you're juggling at the moment, that you're trying to figure out, that sort of thing. So this toing and froing, this sort of this gentle swing of the hips, is you trying to, it feels like work out, hone in on the best one path forward or the one way forward. It feels in some ways that this is a way you're figuring out how to navigate or not even navigate, how to position yourself on the compass. If you were standing on a big compass and the compass wanted to rotate a little bit and point in a new direction, trying to figure out how or where or what this compass is pointing to. So there's a figuring out, like a weighing up, like a honing, a refinement, so even though, like, with most people this might show up as like a real tear and a pull in the body, whereas, you know, the head's really fighting over the heart, which is what I'd probably usually feel in people, is like this really extreme pull of polarities. It just feels like this gentle, like a calibration inside your body as you work things out, like really finely. And this feels quite an accomplishment from the bigger separation and the bigger toing and froing that tends to exist within most people. So I feel like you've learned or been learning or been really working on yourself to figure out how to make it more contained than a big separation split that you're trying to figure out, and it's quite the rough ride. This feels maybe a little bit unsettling, but it feels like you're figuring it out. So you're standing on this big compass wheel and your body weight is shifting between the left and the right as you're toing and froing and umming and ahhing and figuring out what you want to do or where you want to go on this next part of your course or your life. And as you figure that out, it's like every toing and froing that's passing, it's like the toing and froing is lessening. And then eventually it's just going to be like a slight push of weight rather than a lifting up of your feet as you're on this compass. So it's just going to be a slight shift of weight and just this slight sort of vibration as you then come into settle wherever it is that you need to settle. And where that is will be your feet will be pointing in the direction that the compass is pointing now, for you to step off the compass and step forward. And it feels in some ways like the compass, this large compass, that a disc sort of thing that you're standing on, feels a bit like an island as well. So it feels a bit isolated here. It feels like but at the same time, there's so much space and so much potential to explore. So you're doing this quite internally, is the feeling, and figuring out your clarity on the direction. So I trust that resonates and makes sense for you, Kanti. Let's grab a card here to add, see what that is. Very interesting. And the more I talk about this compass and this toing and froing, this sort of shift in body weight on the left and right sides, the more it's starting to come into itself. So it's like, you know, at the beginning it was a bit more like foot off, foot on, foot off, foot on, and now it's starting to really refine, you know, like sound waves or something that's becoming very fine until you find that position. But your feet, wherever they point forward, is the direction of the compass. So it's like it's moving, it's rotating. Yes, it's alive actually. It's a very interesting visual. Okay, Kanti, let's grab your card here to finish this off. I'll grab this card. healing energy cards, deck 2. And we have Dedicated Focus, card 92 in the depth category. It says, be consistent, remain dedicated, give it your attention. Be focused, you are capable, believe in yourself, have a go and see it through. This is interesting because this is the counter to what I felt before. And in fact, in some ways, it feels like we're coming full circle. That whatever was serious and that you were dedicated to before, that then this softer energy came in to soften. It feels like you're now working out as things calibrate for you, and as you get clarity on the direction that you're going to take next. That then requires you to step into that dedicated commitment energy again, which is more of that masculine energy as well. So you might find too, as this soft energy came through that's connected with this card and what I was feeling at the beginning, that feels a bit more feminine, you might find that brings with it a bit of an introspection, a bit of time for rest perhaps, or withdrawal, where you just want to sort of sit in yourself and sit in how you feel. And then as the clarity comes and as you get into position and things lock into place, then you're ready for action. And it's the action of that masculine that comes up with this second card. These are both depth cards actually, but it's more of the masculine, this dedicated focus, this commitment now in taking the action that you need to move forward once you figure out and once you land in the direction that compass and your feet are pointing. Once that locks in, once that clicks into place, then you will be able to, or you have the energy there to be able to focus and proceed. So I trust that makes sense. Thank you. Thanks, Kanti. Lots of love and thanks for your support. Namaste. Okay, welcome everybody. I have 2 more people on my healing list today. So I trust that you're enjoying this connection. Thanks for being here. And the next person I'm connecting with is this person, and it's Susan Sonsteng. Susan, please take a nice big breath. And there's energy that's coming very tight around the neck, especially on the right side, and this like goosebumps, this tingly energy that's coming in also around the neck that then sort of spreads down the spine and spreads up into the back of the head, up to the crown. So there's energy that's moving around your throat and your back and your head. Let's grab a card and then we'll tune a bit further into that, Susan. So we have card 97, Flowing Free. Complete surrender. In surrender there is peace. Move with each step. Participate actively in your life, and you can trust in the direction that you're going. So there is this sense of surrender, and it's interesting actually that this is really sitting around the neck. So there's this sense here, like I'm just very much drawn to this energy of her hair, almost like pulling her forward, but it seems to be framing and holding around her neck, almost like she has a scarf on, or a shawl over her head and her neck that's pulling her forward. And I feel a very similar energy here around the back of your neck. And it's so tingly, like the energy that's moving from this, like that's radiating up into the head and down into the spine, is quite powerful and quite strong, and it's moving in quite the triangular shape. So this energy around your neck that feels heaviest, and then it spreads up like in a V shape up to the top of your crown, and it spreads down in a V shape, so from almost like across from your neck a little bit and down your spine, coming down to your lower back, which is kind of where that point is. So that's where the sort of energy is spreading to, above and below. But I want to go into this neck energy because it feels like this is where that's coming from. So it feels heavy and it feels like a force that's trying to pull you forward. The throat chakra is about communication, expression and truth, and feeling safe to speak your truth and be who you are. So there is this sense of something pulling you, and it's, I guess the best feeling the best way to describe this pulling feeling would be if someone was standing in front of you and they had a scarf around your neck, and they were holding here from the front, and they were trying to pull you forward. There's a pulling forward feeling here that's very, very strong. And it could be also connected with your own desire to find yourself and your own desire to find purpose and meaning and depth in your life, and maybe working out your communication issues as well, and how you can express yourself better and listen better, and this kind of desire. I wouldn't be surprised if that's connected here in this pulling forward, because even though the way it feels like is like someone standing in front of you pulling you forward, I would hope that someone's not influencing you in that sort of way, that's sort of pulling you out and pulling you forward. I feel that it's coming from inside you, and it's this force, this pull, this quest, this thirst for more, for depth, for more from life, for reaching out for more, like looking for something, a quest. It just feels very strongly like this, and it's so strongly coming from inside you. So it's pushing from the back of your neck. So this is connected with old issues, probably from the past, as old issues tend to be. So past issues from the past that are connecting with maybe the opposite of that, the good qualities of the throat chakra, let's say. So things more like past suppression or past constriction of your voice, or an inability to express for whatever reason, or an unconfidence in expression, or when you followed or tried to follow things that feel like purpose, maybe it hasn't eventuated into anything much, or maybe there was more challenges in that than positive things. So there's been like this, almost like this issue is what the feeling is that you probably carry here from actual insecurities in your throat, or insecurities within yourself that affect your communication, your quest for truth. And basically your quest for truth is a quest for yourself. You're looking for yourself, basically. So things happen in our past where we're suppressed and silenced, and things happen that may not fit together with who we thought we were, that may challenge and confront that. And it feels in some ways like that's probably your driving force moving forward or pushing forward. And what I actually want to do is I want to back this energy off a little bit so it's not so forceful in its pull forward, because if we're too obsessed or too focused too much in some ways, in an out of balance way, on things, and that can then we have our blinkers on, we get a tunnel vision towards that. So what I want to actually do is sort of back the energy off a little bit. It's pulling you forward, just back it up and just bring it more into a neutral space, so more into the present moment rather than trying to pull you heavily into the future. So just backing that off. And as that energy backs off just a little bit and there's less of a pull forward and more, so this pulling in your body is more of us just settling back a little bit into your spine. The energy that was sort of ricocheting or rippling up from this, up to your crown and down to your lower back, that's actually subsided and backed off a bit too. So it feels like it's creating, there's the, as you're trusting more in the flow and pushing less, and have less tunnel vision, it's actually taking the pressure off the effects of this that affect and move up into your crown and down through the back of your body too, because it feels like these are effects of the pushing and the tunnel vision. So backing that off and just bringing your body back into center, so back into the present moment. So instead of being so future focused, just settling you back down into your body. I can feel a settling down of your shoulders and the upper part of your body here, your chest, settling into your body again. I can feel your throat and your neck settling into your body again as well. And that whole sort of pulling of the scarf, that backs off. And there's more of a peace here, less of a desperation, let's say, but more of a contentment, a surrender, a peace in finding peace in the moment. And not that that says it in the card, but it says there is, in surrender, there is peace. So instead of pushing forward towards something, there's a time for pushing, but we have to be careful that pushing doesn't become obsession or tunnel vision. Instead of pushing forward, more of allowing the unfolding and the flow to occur. This also brings less tension, like a release of tension in your back, and also the back of your throat, so the back of your neck feels like tension, tightness that was there before has relaxed a little bit and has softened. This might help you find, well, again, more peace in the moment. And even though, it's good to have goals and things to work towards and move towards and goals to set ourselves, our brain likes having something that we're moving towards that we can accomplish. Let's keep that in balance is the feeling here. Now, I didn't realize it also until now, but there's also a relaxing tension in your belly. So around your sacral chakra felt like it was, I didn't realize till now, but that felt like it was quite tight and quite like a breath held sort of thing. So that feels like it's softened and opened up too, which should help you feel more balanced emotionally. So ultimately, this is about flow. The feeling is this is about moving with the flow and trusting the flow and the rhythm of your life, and releasing your insecurities and your issues and your past past burdens that affect you today, releasing those as you go, as you move forward. Now you're still moving towards the same goal, but there is less of a force feeling, and there is more of a relaxing into it feeling. And I feel that this is going to potentially work better for you. So see how you go with that, Susan. Thank you so much. Let's grab a card and see what that first card to finish this connection off for you, Susan, is this. Another Healing Energy cards, the number 2. And it's this. Release the guilt. Make a wrong right. Drop your burdens. Let the hurt go. Correct a mistake you've made. Apologize. Take responsibility. Own it to move forward. So this is like stepping back. So now that you've stepped back, there might be some things to look at and assess and see what you've perhaps been running away from or trying to avoid. And maybe there are some things that can be released or corrected if there's been some mistakes made that can help resolve things for you now. That will help also consolidate your energy as you prepare to move forward and as you continue to flow forward is probably a better words to use. But you're on an energetic level, your energy wants to be freer. And so there's heaviness and burden that you carry that is weighing you down as well. So if you can let those things go, so really surrender them, that will help you lift up and fly. And well, I'd like to use the word flow free, really. Flowing free, flying free. So thank you so much, Susan. Thanks for your support, and I trust this supports you. Namaste. Okay, that means lucky last. I don't know if you're still here, Nikki. Lucky last is Nicki M. So Nikki, just give me a second. I'll just pop these other cards back. Let's take a nice big breath and let's see what's loudest in your vibration today. Okay, so the best card for you for now, Nikki, is this from deck 1 here. Abundance. Well, this is nice. Card 39, abundance. Abundance and good things in all forms. Positive thoughts, opportunities. Be open to receiving what you need. Giving, receiving, and flow. So there's an overflow of abundance that's wants to come into your life is the feeling here. Okay, so just take a nice big breath. So what I feel like is energy being stored here, which is interesting. So like you've got 2 bowls, shallowish bowls, but fairly large, that are sitting here on your shoulders. And feels like burden, responsibility that you're carrying. So it could be duties and obligations that you have in your life, responsibilities things that you're responsible for, people you're responsible for perhaps. but also burdens that you carry here, because responsibility and those obligations are a burden in some ways, but we don't mind if, they're, like our children or people that we love and care for, or if they're things that just need to be done right now and they're temporary. It's almost like the sacrifice that's required for some of the responsibilities that we have, which life and is not necessarily a bad thing. But it feels like these two bowls here. The bowls actually feel almost empty. It feels like the bowl should be full of energy, full of liquid, full of life. But actually, both of them feel almost empty here. Like there's just like the smallest amount of liquid in these bowls, and this could be part of like you're being refueled, or because the more responsibility we have, the more obligations and burdens we have in life, let's say, the more we also need to spend time replenishing or refueling ourselves so that we don't wear ourselves too thin and become overwhelmed. So it feels like things have been sloshing around. I feel like the last 6 months, I want to say that there's been a lot of sloshing around, like lots of, moving back and forward on things. It feels like the body's really wanting to sway side to side here. And as it moves side to side over the last 6 months, it feels like the water just sloshes out. It's like being, I guess if you have a bowl of water on a boat, and the sea gets up and the swell gets up, and then it's very hard to contain the water in this bowl because it just keeps sloshing about and sloshing out. And that's what this feels like. Now, because there's a lot of water energy here, this feels to be a quite emotional energy. So emotional burdens or emotional responsibilities that you have in your life, and having the bowls on both sides. I mean, having bowls there themselves is not something I can ever remember seeing before, energetically. So this shows that these are your responsibilities to bear right now. This is, you've got bowls there wanting to contain the energy, so as a way to stay balanced in the back and forth and the responsibilities and burdens that you carry at this time. So having bowls there shows me that this is just the way it is right now, and it might not be this way forever, but this is just the way it is, and this is okay. And the watery element of this, so the water that's compiled in here, that shows an emotional connection as well. So it shows emotional, potentially things that sit very close to you on an emotional level. So so what I want to do, so I'm feeling this side to side movement. It does feel like the last 6 months especially has been quite side to side, quite a lot of sloshing about, and maybe some challenges here that have really challenged you to keep your balance and keep focused and keep your obligations and your responsibilities under some type of manageable control. So it feels like that's been tested. So what I want to do, the first thing I want to do is just stop the momentum of this side to side swaying. So what I want to do is come down to your hips, and I actually imagine I'm behind you, and I just gently put my hands on your hips here, just to help slow that part of the side to side swinging that's been taking place. Now, swinging energy too, you may have found yourself quite out of balance and going from one extreme to the other, and maybe finding it really hard to relax and find your center, and time might be going really fast for you in this sort of side to side swinging mode. So your hips now, just bringing those into center. And even though the top of your body's still sort of moving side to side, your hips have slowed probably 3/4 that's swinging down. So this is probably connected then with an uncertainty, or maybe a lack of clarity or a lack of confidence in the direction that you're going, or maybe you feel a bit directionless lately or in the last 6 months. So this is probably part of that energy too. So calming the energy here at your hips down should help anchor you and bring you into more of a state of, or at least prepare you for finding your direction again and feeling confident with that. And now just coming into your shoulders with my hands, and now just stopping that swaying. So it's a bit like a pendulum going like this, and just coming in with our hand really gently and just stopping that momentum. And that's what I feel like I'm doing here. So now things have stopped. or things have become still. And you can probably feel something strange has just happened. In fact, it's just popped open your crown chakra for one. So that shows me that you've probably been feeling disconnected and maybe separate. And I feel quite emotional, perhaps quite alone in recent months, if not the last 6 months. Because this swaying and this side to side of energy has actually also been creating a separation in your crown chakra. So with that stillness that's coming in now, there's something that's come into oneness or into come together here in your crown. So this should help you also feel more connected to spirit, but also more connected in your life with yourself, with others, and your life itself. So things have come together now. Things are finding center. So now this is going to be easier for us to fill up these bowls here on your shoulders. Now, interesting, the bowls before, as you were swaying from side to side, felt quite large, really, for the area of your shoulders. They felt quite large and quite shallow. And now that the energy's come in to center more, these bowls here feel smaller, like they're about half the size, and a little deeper as they sit here. So this means less potential for a bit of life test to slosh this around and all the water going out everywhere, which is representing life force as well. But having a more contained and deeper vessel here, this feels like it's going to be more stabilizing and helping you cope with the things that you're coping with in life. So, and these bowls feel very white, very light and white and shiny as you just balance them here. They're less protruding too, so less chance of tipping and making the momentum start up again. So they're more contained, they're sitting more here on your shoulders. And now I can feel energy coming down from the universe in two directions, right over, left over, and they're filling up these bowls. And there's a lot of tingling happening around your shoulders here and around your shoulder blades at the back as energy, liquid water, we could say, is filling up these bowls. So I see two jugs, and the jugs are pouring water in. And I just want to stay really still while the water fills these up, and then we get a feeling of what the weight feels like, because it feels like it's been a while since these have been full. And actually, even though these represent burdens and responsibilities and obligations that you have at this time in your life, they do feel balanced. And as they fill up with water, especially while you're in an aligned state, there's a sense of grounding with these. You might want to be somewhere else, and they're not always something that feels pleasant to do. Maybe they're actually really good for you at this time, because it feels like they're really grounding, and they really help you, are helping you understand more about yourself and more about life. And the burdens and responsibilities and obligations, they shift as we go through life. So it's not always going to be like this either. So there's something very grounding about your responsibilities. And if you can find peace with that, I feel like that's going to help you so much in regards to your balance and your stability within you. So now both of these bowls are filled up, and I can feel the weight of them. They're pulling you down and grounding you. The jugs from above have moved away. And now there is this feeling, that you still can move, but, and it's not the movement that empties these bowls, it's the swinging, it's the rough seas, it's the tests that you go through, that you're figuring out how to work your way through and how to endure those. So now I see you centered, aligned, grounded, very balanced in both sides of your body, and just very present in the here and now. And I feel this gratitude just washing through you, this deep gratitude for what you do have and the people that are there and the things that you are doing to help other people at this time. That there's a lot of gratitude in that wants to swell up inside you. And this will also help bring that balance or maintain that balance for you. So reconnecting, even though there's a lot of stuff that we've done here, I feel like this, even just that clearing that block, that bring that togetherness in your crown chakra will likely help you feel more connected and less alone and less like you're doing everything on your own. And if you need help, if you need to spread the tasks and obligations and duties that you have with other people, if that's possible, then that might be something to look at as well. How can you manage your responsibilities and duties in a better way for yourself? But you might find that moving forward now that you should hopefully feel more balanced and more appreciative of these things and feel them less to be like a burden. So I trust that resonates and supports you, Nikki. Let's grab a card to finish this connection up. So the best card to finalize this here is... what is it? It's something very specific. So the best card to finalize this connection, Nikki, is this card, Healing Energy card deck 2. And it's the same as we had before, flowing free. 97, complete surrender. And I also want to say complete gratitude, because there seems to be a power and a groundedness in that. In surrender, there is peace. Move with each step. Participate actively in your life, which is going to be easier to do now your crown chakra, that energy has been resolved, because it's very difficult to participate if you're feeling alone and separate and you're dealing with this imbalance, this swinging. You can trust in the direction that you're going. And that's pretty self-explanatory. Flowing free. And this is you moving with the energy. And you're in a better position now, I feel, than when I connected before, to be able to move forward in a balanced, aligned and clearer way. So thanks so much, Nikki. I trust this supports you. Thank you for your support. Namaste. Okay, thank you so much. Thanks, everybody. Thank you to all of my patrons for your support in June. I will be back again tomorrow at the same time for our healing list event. That's a big healing event I do at the end of each month for patrons. I don't know what we're going to do yet, because I'll figure that out on my journey to the event itself. So I will post some information as it comes to me, most likely tomorrow prior to starting. So thanks, have a great rest of your day, and please have a look at my Temple of Balance on Patreon if you would like to become a patron next month and enjoy the resources that are created. And if you'd like to learn more about me or grab yourself a deck of healing energy cards that I created, please visit templeofbalance.com.au. Thank you so much. Have a great rest of your day, and sending you lots and lots of love. Namaste. Bye.